In the flickering shadows of Topkapi Palace, a scream pierced the 1623 dawn, echoing the terror of Ottoman princesses facing their wedding night. Whispers of rituals that shattered spirits, diets that dulled minds, and nights of forced submission. Why did these royal daughters born to power dread the one evening meant to seal their fate? The darkness hides a truth too grim to forget. Welcome to GrimoryX, where the veils of empire lift to reveal screams silenced by gold. The Ottoman Empire, rising in 1299 under Osman I, spanned 3 continents by the 16th century. Princesses, daughters of sultans, lived in opulent seclusion within the imperial harem of Topkapi Palace. Surrounded by eunuchs and slaves, they received education in arts, languages, and etiquette. Yet this grandeur masked their role as political pawns. Marriages forged alliances, binding viziers and governors to the dynasty. From young ages, they learned obedience, their fates decided by Valide sultans, the powerful mothers wielding influence from the shadows. In the early Ottoman era, princesses married foreign nobles to secure borders. Orhan's union with Byzantine Theodora in 1346 sealed alliances through lavish processions. By Mehmed II's time, marriages turned inward to slave elites and viziers. This prevented power leaks, keeping lands within the dynasty. Princesses like Mirima, daughter of Suleiman, wed Rustem Pasha at 17. Valide sultans orchestrate these matches, weaving networks of loyalty. Yet for the brides, it meant submission to strangers, their intellects caged in political bonds. During the Sultanate of Women, Valide sultans like Qasem wielded power, arranging marriages for their daughters. Princess Aishi wed multiple times, her husbands often executed for disloyalty. These unions ensured viziers' fidelity, but for princesses, it meant serial widowhood. Betrothals occurred young, consummation delayed until puberty. Kaya Sultan, at 13, married a man in his 50s. The age gap bred dread as brides faced older, battle-hardened strangers. Harem education taught submission, turning vibrant minds into silent consorts bound by duty. Princesses' lives in the harem were isolated, guarded by eunuchs like the Kislar Aga. They mastered embroidery, music, and poetry. But these skills served to attract powerful suitors. Marriages elevated husbands to damad status, granting prestige, but demanding absolute loyalty. Failure meant execution, leaving princesses widowed and remarried. Fatma Sultan endured 6 unions, each a cycle of loss. This system bred anxiety as brides pondered their husbands' precarious fates. Behind silk walls, freedom was an illusion, power a double-edged sword. Dynastic marriages evolved under Suleiman the Magnificent. His sister Hadije wed Ibrahim Pasha, binding the Grand Vizier. Such unions prevented rebellion, but princesses paid the price. Often, husbands were much older, their loyalties tested through intimacy. Mehrimah's marriage to Rustem, marred by leprosy rumors, highlighted risks. Valide Harem influenced these choices, prioritizing empire over daughters' happiness. Princesses, educated and refined, became symbols of submission. Their weddings, though celebrated, heralded a life of seclusion, where personal desires yielded to political necessity. Selim II's daughters, Ismihan and Gevahan, married Sokolu Mehmed and Payala Pasha in 1562, triple weddings coinciding with circumcisions for grandeur. These events displayed Ottoman might with processions and feasts, but for princesses, they marked the end of innocence. Betrothed as children, they faced consummation with men twice their age. Harem whispers spoke of psychological preparation, diets to ensure compliance. The Valide's hand guided, but the bride's hearts rebelled in silence. Power's price was personal sacrifice, veiled in splendor. Kösem Sultan's daughters Ayşe and Fatma endured multiple marriages, their husbands falling to the Sultan's wrath. Ayşe's union to Hafiz Ahmed Pasha ended in execution, a pattern of loss. Princesses became widows, remarried to maintain alliances. This cycle instilled fear, as each wedding promised potential tragedy. Harem life, with its jealousies and intrigues, amplified isolation. Education in obedience prepared them for submission, but not the emotional toll. In the empire's golden age, princesses' tears stained the silk of their cages. Princesses like Beyhan, sister of Selim I, married Ferhad Pasha, gaining prestige but living in fear of his downfall. Marriages were tools to curb factions, yet brides suffered the consequences. Serial unions eroded their spirits, each new husband a reminder of impermanence. Harem customs emphasized veiling and segregation, symbols of status but chains of isolation. As the empire expanded, princesses' roles shrank to marital pawns. Their education, meant for enlightenment, instead prepared them for a life of quiet desperation amid grandeur. Preparation for marriage began early in the harem. Princesses learned sewing, music, and court protocol, skills to please future husbands. Diets and herbal concoctions ensured health and fertility, but rumors whispered of sedatives for compliance. Valide sultans selected grooms, prioritizing loyalty over compatibility. Betrothals were announced with gifts, sealing the fate. As the wedding approached, brides underwent beauty rituals in bathhouses, their bodies adorned for the unknown. This grooming masked the dread of leaving harem safety for a stranger's domain. Bathhouses served as social hubs, where princesses prepared for weddings amid steam and whispers. Embroidered towels and wooden sandals accompanied rituals of cleansing and henna application. These gatherings offered brief respite, but underscored the impending loss of autonomy. As brides, they were veiled, their faces hidden from the world. The Valide's final instructions emphasized duty, stifling personal fears. In this world of segregation, weddings allowed rare interactions, yet the joy was tainted by the knowledge of what awaited in the bridal chamber. As the wedding day dawned, princesses were dressed in elaborate gowns, their hair threaded with gold. Henna nights proceeded, with music and dances masking underlying tension. The bride, concealed behind screens, was escorted in processions through crowds. Coins were scattered for good fortune, but the spectacle hid her isolation. Eunuchs and viziers flanked the path, symbolizing control. In this ritual of power, the princess's voice was silent, her fate sealed by tradition. The celebration's splendor contrasted the private dread building within. Weddings featured guild parades and martial displays, entertaining crowds while affirming Ottoman dominance. Princesses, from behind red satin screens, heard the cheers but felt the weight of expectation. Feasts lasted days, with sweetened rice and gifts for guests. Yet the bride's mind wandered to the night ahead. European observers noted the opulence, but missed the underlying coercion. In this blend of joy and control, the princess's role was passive, her body a vessel for dynasty. The day's end brought the true test. As night fell, the bridal chamber awaited, lit by candles casting ominous shadows. The princess, now alone with her husband, faced the consummation ritual. Tradition demanded proof of virginity, a sheet stained with blood displayed to affirm honor. This public validation humiliated, turning intimacy into spectacle. Whispers of pain and force echoed in harem tales. For young brides like Kaya, the age disparity amplified terror. Submission was not choice, but duty. In this moment, power's facade crumbled, revealing vulnerability. The wedding night embodied obedience, a test of loyalty for both bride and groom. Princesses, raised in seclusion, confronted physical intimacy with strangers, chosen for politics. Age gaps and power imbalances fueled fears of abuse. Harem education hinted at pleasures, but reality brought pain and pressure to conceive heirs. Failure could mean divorce or disgrace. In candlelit silence, tears mingled with duty. This ritual, censored in histories, broke spirits, turning royal daughters into vessels of empire, their screams swallowed by palace walls. Psychological torment defined the night. Princesses, intelligent and spirited, faced erasure of self. Diets rumoured to dull senses ensured passivity. The husband's touch, often rough from war, clashed with harem delicacy. Virginity's proof, a bloodied cloth, was paraded, stripping dignity. For some, like Fatima in 1623, the trauma lingered, breaking minds. This ritual reinforced male dominance, the empire's stability built on women's sacrifice. In shadows, fears of pregnancy or rejection loomed, turning love's promise into a nightmare. The fear stemmed from loss of innocence, autonomy, identity. Princesses, once free in harem games, became consorts in a man's world. The night symbolized transition from daughter to wife, but often to widow. Harem tales warned of husband's cruelty, amplified by political stakes. Conception was imperative, failure inviting repudiation. In this grim ritual, bodies bore the empire's weight. Whispers of sedatives and force painted a picture of control, where love was absent, replaced by cold calculation. After the night, princesses emerged, changed, their roles shifting to wives and potential mothers. Success meant influence through sons, but failure brought isolation. Many, like Fatma, faced divorce if husbands displeased the sultan. Widowhood was common, with remarriage swift to forge new alliances. This cycle perpetuated fear, as each union echoed the first's trauma. In later life, some gained power as Valid, but the scar remained. The empire's glory rested on these silent sacrifices forgotten in history's pages. Some princesses, like Mirima, wielded influence post-marriage, funding mosques and charities. Yet many languished in seclusion, their lives defined by loss. Serial marriages eroded identity, each new union a reminder of fragility. The empire's fall in 1922 ended the dynasty, but legacies lingered. Princesses' stories, buried in archives, reveal the human cost of power. Their fears, rooted in control and coercion, echo through time. Was it tradition or torment? The shadows hold the answer, whispering of broken dreams. In reflection, Ottoman princesses' fears were woven into the fabric of empire. Born to luxury, they paid with freedom. Wedding nights, symbols of union, became gates to suffering. Historical accounts, though sparse, hint at the psychological scars. Valide Sultan's power came from similar trials, perpetuating the cycle. As the empire waned, reforms brought change, but too late for many. Their stories challenge the glory narrative, revealing women's silent role in history's march. The dread lingers in forgotten diaries. The aftermath saw princesses navigating harem politics, their experiences shaping influence. Some, like Ismihan, advised brothers, extending power. But the first night's shadow persisted, a reminder of vulnerability. As widows, they founded waqfs, channeling grief into charity. The empire's multi-ethnic fabric mirrored their diverse fates. Reforms in the 19th century expanded education, hinting at freedom. Yet the core remained. Women's sacrifices fueled dynastic strength. In grim retrospect, their fears were justified, a dark thread in Ottoman tapestry. Princesses' fears reflected broader Ottoman women's plight, limited agency in marriages, economic dependence. Sharia granted rights, but custom curtailed them. Divorce was possible, but stigmatized. In the harem, jealousies festered, amplifying trauma. Historical observers like Layla Saz recalled positive aspects, but critics saw oppression. The wedding night, a pivotal moment, scarred deeply. As the empire modernized, women's roles expanded, but the legacy of dread endured. Their stories, now unearthed, question the cost of tradition in building empires. The dread of the first wedding night encapsulated the paradox of power and subjugation. Princesses, symbols of dynasty, were its victims. Historical silence on their pain speaks volumes. From Theodora's alliance to Kaya's youth, the pattern persisted. As Valid, some reversed roles, but the cycle continued. The empire's collapse freed future generations, but scars echo. In grim analysis, fear was the price of stability. Their whispers challenge us. Was empire worth the human cost? Uncovering these fears reveals the human underbelly of history. Ottoman princesses, veiled in mystery, suffered for an empire's longevity. Their wedding nights, shrouded in ritual, embodied control's cruelty. From political pawns to influential matrons, their journey was fraught. Modern perspectives condemn the subjugation, honouring their resilience. As candles fade on Topkapi's walls, one ponders the untold tales. Were they victims or architects? The grim truth blends both, a testament to women's enduring strength amid shadows. In the end, the fear of that first wedding night lingered as a silent scar on Ottoman history. Princesses like Mehrima became ghosts in their own lives, their stories buried in palace archives. The empire fell in 1922, but the echoes of broken spirits persist. Was it control or cruelty? The rituals ensured dynasty, yet at the cost of humanity. As candles dim, one wonders, what shadows still hide in power's embrace? The walls of Topkapi still whisper Mihrimah's name, a fading echo in time's vast hall. Her story, like many, blends truth with legend, shadows that refuse to die. In the end, the empire's grandeur masked profound sorrow, leaving us to ponder the price of power. As the candle gutters out, the mystery lingers. If these shadows stirred your soul, like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more grim tales. Until the next whisper calls from the dark. I'll be waiting there.